Voting is a privilege in this country, and you need to be legal, not like California where 3 million illegals voted.
Let's talk about that.
I'm glad I brought that up, Allison.
Me too, Paula. So where are you getting your information?
From the media. Where else would we get?
Media?
Some of it was CNN, I believe.
CNN said that 3 million illegal people voted
Well,
in
it was coming
California?
all across the media. All across. Well, CNN didn't do it, then they were being smart this time.
Do you think that 3 million illegal people voted?
I believe in California that there were illegals that voted.
How many?
I don't. To tell you the truth, nobody really knows that number.
But do you think 3 dozen or do you think 3 million?
I think there was a good amount because the president told people that they could vote and it happened.
This took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
In a day for the ages in the Middle East. First, all remaining living hostages held by Hamas in Gaza were returned to their families. And 1,900 Palestinians were sent the other way as part of a prisoner exchange. Then global leaders got to the business of working out the next steps in a peace plan led by the US President Donald Trump. Joining us live now is CNN's Nick Robertson. Again, Nick, it's good to have you with us on what's been a busy day for you. It was also a very busy day for the US President, a marathon effort, if you like, who spent barely 12 hours on the ground in 2 different countries. But on that summit, what came out of it?
So this just happened, and honestly, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Trump just said the quiet part out loud, like actually out loud on camera, with reporters standing right there. And the internet is absolutely losing its mind right now. So here's what went down. October 14th, 2025, White House press Q&A day. Pretty standard stuff, right? Reporters asking questions, Trump doing his usual thing. But then someone asked him about this whole MAGA global initiative. You know, the one where he's apparently funneling resources to political allies in South America? Yeah, that one. And instead of dodging or pivoting like politicians usually do, Trump just comes out and says it. Quote, MAGA isn't only about America. It's about making sure our people have power everywhere. But before we go any further, real quick, let's be honest, you can't really trust headlines anymore. That's why we built Pump Politics to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, join our free newsletter. We'll send the news straight to your inbox every day. Just click the link in the description to join. And if you just want to support what we're doing, join us, be part of the community that actually cares about the truth. All right, let's get back to the video. Pause. Wait, what did the guy who literally ran on America first just admit that MAGA was never really about America at all? Like, are you kidding me right now? Because that's sure what it sounds like. And the reaction? Immediate chaos. I'm talking staff members visibly freaking out behind him. One aide got caught on a hot mic literally muttering, "We weren't supposed to go there." Can you believe this? They knew. They all knew this wasn't supposed to come out, but it did. And now it's everywhere. CNN picked it up within hours. ABC News is running segments. MSNBC has the clip on repeat. YouTube? Forget about it. The video's gone absolutely viral. Everyone's talking about it. Left, right, center? Doesn't matter. This moment is blowing up across every platform you can think of. And here's the thing. This isn't just some slip of the tongue. This is Trump basically confirming what critics have been saying for years, that Make America Great Again was never really about making America great. It was about building a power structure, a network, global influence, disguised as patriotism. Think about that for a second. The entire MAGA brand, the hats, the rallies, the America First speeches, all of it potentially just a front for something way bigger and way more calculated than anyone wanted to admit. Now, his team tried to walk it back. Of course they did. Within hours, they're putting out statements trying to clarify what he really meant, saying it was taken out of context, saying people misunderstood, you know, the usual cleanup operation. But here's the problem. We all saw the video. We all heard what he said. And more importantly, we saw the reactions of everyone around him when he said it. Those faces don't lie. And then, then it gets even better. Because literally the same day this comment drops, there's a massive leak. MAGA Inc. donor data just out there, trending online. And guess what's in it? Corporate ties to companies that just happen to be getting favorable federal contracts. Coincidence? Yeah, right. So now we've got Trump on record saying MAGA is about global power, and we've got leaked documents showing corporations paying for access. It's like someone just connected all the dots in real time. The timing here is wild, like seriously wild. Congress is already investigating whether MAGA Inc. is being used as some kind of shadow channel for policy favors. Watchdog groups are all over this. And then Trump just hands them the soundbite of the century. This is the kind of moment that changes narratives, the kind of thing that gets replayed in attack ads, the kind of confession that people don't forget. And look, whether you love Trump or hate him, you gotta admit, this is a big deal. Because if MAGA was always meant to be bigger than America, if it was always about building some kind of international political network, then what does that say about everything we've been told for the last several years? What does it say about America first? What does it say about the isolationist messaging? What does it say about all those promises to focus on Americans and only Americans? It says maybe, just maybe, we've been watching a completely different show than the one we thought we were watching. So yeah, that's where we're at. Trump accidentally admitted the sick secret everyone suspected, but nobody could prove. And now the whole internet is trying to figure out what this actually means. Buckle up, because this story is just getting started. All right, so let's actually break down what's happening here, because this isn't just about one comment. This is way bigger than that. First off, MAGA Global. You've probably been hearing that term thrown around lately, right? Well, here's what it actually is. It's this initiative that Trump's been pushing, where the administration sends resources, taxpayer-backed resources, by the way, to fund political allies in other countries, specifically South America right now. Now, on the surface, that might not sound terrible. Countries help allies all the time, right? But here's where it gets sketchy. These aren't just any allies. These are politicians who align with Trump's specific brand of politics, his movement, his ideology. So basically, Trump is using American tax dollars to build a mini MAGA network across South America. And according to his own words, now, that was always the plan. This wasn't some new initiative. This was baked into MAGA from the beginning. Think about the implications of that for a second. Every rally, every speech about putting America first, every promise to stop meddling in other countries' business, all of it potentially just theater, while the real goal was building international influence. And here's what makes this even more interesting. Remember Project 2025? Yeah, that thing that Trump's team kept trying to distance themselves from? Well, turns out there were leaked reports, and I'm talking detailed documents here, describing long-term GOP plans to centralize executive power under Trump's movement. Guess what those documents mention? Global expansion of MAGA influence, which means this isn't some new scandal. This has been in the works for a while. Trump just finally said it out loud. So when political analysts heard his October 14th comment, they immediately connected it to Project 2025, because suddenly all those leaked documents make way more sense. The pieces are fitting together, and people are starting to realize this was orchestrated way before anyone knew about it. Now, let's talk about the reaction inside Trump's own circle, because this is where it gets really wild. Multiple news outlets, CNN, MSNBC, even some YouTube channels, they all caught the same thing. The moment Trump made that comment about MAGA being about power everywhere, his aides looked like they seen a ghost, serious panic mode. And then that hot mic moment, an actual staffer caught on audio saying we weren't supposed to go there. Like, come on, that's not even subtle. That's a straight up admission that there's an official narrative, and Trump just went completely off script. Which raises the question, what else are they not supposed to talk about? What other parts of the MAGA strategy are still under wraps? Because if this was the thing they didn't want getting out, what's left that's even more controversial? But wait, there's more. Because the same day, literally the same day, Trump makes this comment, there's a massive data leak. MAGA Inc. donor information just suddenly out there for everyone to see. And what's in this leak? Corporate connections. Businesses that donated big money to MAGA Inc. And then, shocker, those same businesses started getting favorable federal contracts, preference in bidding, access to government projects, the whole 9 yards. This is the pay for access scandal that critics have been screaming about for months. And now there's actual data backing it up. Names, amounts, contract details, everything. ABC News jumped on this immediately. They started cross-referencing the donor lists with federal contract awards, and the overlap, significant, like really significant. Too much to be coincidental. So now you've got two bombshells on the same day. Trump admitting MAGA is about global power, and leaked proof that corporations are essentially buying influence through MAGA Inc. It's like Christmas morning for investigative journalists. And the internet? Oh man, the internet is having a field day with this. Reddit threads are blowing up. Twitter, or X, whatever we're calling it now, is absolutely on fire. TikTok has videos analyzing every frame of Trump's face when he made the comment. Everyone's got an opinion. Some people are saying Trump finally told the truth for once. Others are claiming it's all taken out of context and the media is spinning it. And then there's a whole group in the middle who are just confused about what this actually means for the country. But here's what's really interesting, the hypocrisy angle. Because Trump built his entire political brand on America first, right? No more nation building, no more getting involved in other countries' problems, bring the troops home, focus on Americans. That was the message. That was the promise. Isolationism wrapped in patriotism. Except if MAGA was always meant to be about global influence, if the plan was always to spread Trump-aligned politicians across multiple countries, then America First was never really the goal, was it? It was just marketing, a slogan that tested well with voters, but the actual strategy, completely different. And that's what's got people so fired up right now, because whether you agree with Trump's policies or not, you probably don't like being lied to. And this comment makes it sound like voters were sold one product and delivered something else entirely. Think about all those campaign speeches, all those promises about putting American workers first, American jobs first, American interests first. What do those promises mean if MAGA was simultaneously building an international political network? How do you focus on America while also making sure your people have power everywhere? Those two goals seem pretty contradictory, and that contradiction is exactly what Trump's opponents are seizing on right now. Democrats are already preparing statements. Progressive groups are drafting fundraising emails. Conservative critics, yeah, they exist, are questioning whether this aligns with traditional Republican values. Everyone's picking this apart from their own angle. And Trump's team, they're scrambling to contain it. But here's the thing about viral moments in 2025. You can't really contain them anymore. Once something's out there, it's out there forever. Screenshots, video clips, memes, they all live on. There's no putting this genie back in the bottle. And Trump's got more problems coming. Because Congress, they're already investigating MAGA Inc. for potential corruption. Watchdog organizations are filing requests for documents. Ethics lawyers are analyzing whether any laws were broken. This comment just gave all of them more ammunition. Because now it's not just suspicious behavior, it's suspicious behavior with Trump's own words confirming the intent behind it. The timing couldn't be worse for him politically either. We're heading into 2026. Midterm elections are on the horizon, and this is exactly the kind of story that can shift public opinion, especially among swing voters who maybe gave Trump the benefit of the doubt before. Because here's the reality, most people can forgive a lot of things in politics, but they hate feeling played. They hate thinking they were manipulated. And this comment, intentional or not, makes a whole lot of people feel exactly that way. So yeah, this isn't just a gaffe. This isn't just a bad soundbite. This is potentially a narrative-defining moment. The kind of thing that gets referenced for years. The kind of admission that opponents will use in every attack ad from now until forever. Trump might have just handed his critics the weapon they've been searching for. And the damage control is not going well. Because every time his team tries to explain what he meant, it just raises more questions. Every clarification makes things worse. Every statement just reminds people of the original comment. It's a PR nightmare, the kind that keeps campaign managers up at night, the kind that becomes a case study in political science classes about what not to do. Okay, so let's actually break this down into what matters, because there's a lot of noise around this story, and we need to cut through to what's actually important. Point 1, what Trump actually said. Let's be crystal clear about the exact words here. Trump said, MAGA isn't only about America. It's about making sure our people have power everywhere. Now, you can interpret that a few different ways. His defenders will say he meant making sure American interests are represented globally, that he's just describing standard foreign policy, that every president tries to build international relationships. But that's not really what it sounds like, is it? Our people doesn't mean Americans broadly. It means Trump-aligned politicians, MAGA movement people specifically. And power everywhere isn't about American interests. It's about political control. So when you actually look at what he said, word for word, it's pretty clear he's describing a political expansion strategy, not a foreign policy position, a movement building strategy that crosses borders, and that's fundamentally different from what voters were told MAGA represented. The context matters too. This wasn't some philosophical discussion about America's role in the world. This was a direct question about taxpayer money being used to support foreign politicians, and Trump's answer basically confirmed it. Yeah, we're doing that because MAGA is bigger than just America. That's kind of a big admission, you know? Point 2, the MAGA Inc. connection. Now let's talk about MAGA Inc. because this organization is at the center of everything. On paper, it's a political fundraising group. Donors give money. That money supports Trump-aligned candidates and causes. Pretty standard stuff for political organizations. But the leaked donor data, that tells a different story. Because when you cross-reference who's donating with who's getting federal contracts, the overlap is suspicious. Really suspicious. Major corporations donate hundreds of thousands to MAGA Inc. Then suddenly they're winning bids for government projects, getting preferential treatment in federal procurement, getting access to policymakers. Is that pay for access? Is that corruption? Well, that's what Congress is trying to figure out right now. And Trump's comment about MAGA being about power everywhere, that just made the investigation way more interesting. Because if MAGA Inc. isn't just about elections, if it's actually about building a power network that spans multiple countries, then what are all these corporations really paying for? Access to American policy or access to an international MAGA network? That's the question investigators are now asking. In Trump's own words, just made it a lot harder for his team to claim there's nothing to see here. The leaked data shows patterns, consistent patterns. Companies donate, they get contracts. They donate more, they get more contracts. It's almost clockwork. And when journalists started mapping it out, the visual representation is damning. We're talking about potentially billions of dollars in contracts going to companies with direct financial ties to Trump's political operation. That's not small potatoes, that's systematic, and the public is starting to notice. Because once the data leaked, independent researchers got their hands on it. They're doing their own analysis, publishing findings, creating infographics, making it impossible to ignore. Point 3, the global strategy. Let's talk about what MAGA Global actually does, because understanding this is key to understanding why Trump's comment matters so much. MAGA Global channels resources to political allies in other countries. Right now, that's focused on South America, but the infrastructure exists to expand. These resources come from various sources, some taxpayer funded, some through private channels connected to MAGA Inc. The politicians receiving this support, they align with Trump's ideology, nationalist messaging, strongman politics, anti-establishment rhetoric. Sound familiar? So essentially, Trump is exporting MAGA, building a franchise, creating an international network of politicians who owe their rise, at least partly, to support from Trump's movement. Why does that matter? Because it means MAGA isn't just a political party or movement within America. It's becoming a transnational political brand, with Trump at the center, with influence spanning multiple countries, with the ability to coordinate across borders. That's not what anyone signed up for when they bought a red hat and went to a rally, right? And here's where it gets even more complex. These foreign politicians that Trump's supporting, they're making policy decisions in their own countries that benefit Trump's interests. Trade deals that favor American companies connected to MAGA Inc., immigration policies that align with Trump's agenda, energy agreements that help Trump-friendly corporations. It's a feedback loop. Trump supports them. They make favorable policies. Those policies benefit Trump's network that generates more money and influence, which gets used to support more politicians. Round and round it goes. This isn't diplomacy. This is empire building, political empire building. And Trump just admitted it on camera. Point 4, the Project 2025 connection. Remember when Project 2025 was this controversial thing that kept getting leaked? All those documents about centralizing power, long-term GOP strategy? Yeah, that. Well, guess what was in those documents? Plans for global MAGA expansion, strategies for building international influence, blueprints for exactly what we're seeing now with MAGA Global. At the time, Trump's team denied knowledge of Project 2025, said it wasn't official, said it was just think tank stuff. But his October 14th comment, that basically confirms Project 2025 was real, was operational, and is currently being implemented. The timeline matches up perfectly. Project 2025 documents leaked in early 2024. MAGA Global started ramping up in late 2024. And now in October 2025, Trump's openly talking about MAGA being about power everywhere. It's not a conspiracy theory anymore. It's documented strategy being executed in real time. And that's scary to a lot of people, because Project 2025 wasn't just about global expansion. It was about consolidating executive power, reducing checks and balances, making the presidency stronger and less accountable. If that's really the playbook, and Trump just confirmed the global part is real, what else from Project 2025 is actually happening behind the scenes? Point 5, why this matters. Now, here's why the timing of all this is so critical. We're not in campaign season. Trump's in his second term. He can't run again. So what's the end game here? If MAGA was just about winning elections and implementing policy, mission accomplished. He's president. He's got power. He's making decisions. But if MAGA is about building lasting international influence, about creating a movement that outlasts Trump's presidency, about establishing a political network that continues generating power and money long after he leaves office, then we're looking at something completely different. We're looking at a political organization that's trying to become permanent, global, self-sustaining. And that changes everything about how we should view Trump's presidency, because it means every decision, every policy, every international relationship is not just about governing. It's about building infrastructure for this larger movement. Foreign aid to South American allies, not just diplomacy, movement building. Federal contracts to MAGA Inc., donors, not just politics as usual, network funding. Global messaging about American strength, not just nationalism, brand expansion. Once you see it through that lens, everything looks different. And voters, they're starting to see it too, because Trump just pulled back the curtain. He said the quiet part out loud, and now people are reevaluating everything they thought they understood about MAGA. The implications are huge. If this model works, If Trump successfully builds a self-sustaining international political network, it could fundamentally change how American politics operates. Future politicians might try to replicate it, build their own transnational movements, turn political brands into global franchises. Is that good for democracy? Is that what voters want? Those are questions we need to be asking. What comes next? So where does this go from here? A few possibilities. Congressional investigations are definitely ramping up. Expect hearings. Expect subpoenas for MAGA Inc. documents. Expect testimony from staffers about the MAGA Global Initiative. This comment gave investigators a roadmap for what to look into. Democrats are already organizing committees. They're bringing in financial experts to analyze the donor data. They're coordinating with international watchdog groups to track where American resources are going. This is going to be thorough. And Republicans, they're in a tough spot. Do they defend Trump and risk being associated with potential corruption? Or do they distance themselves and risk alienating the MAGA base? It's a no-win situation for a lot of them. Politically, this could fracture Trump's coalition, because not everyone who supported MAGA signed up for international power building. Some people genuinely wanted America first. Isolationism, focus on domestic issues. They might not love finding out the real agenda was something else entirely. There are already rumblings of discontent in some MAGA circles, people feeling betrayed, feeling like they were used. That could translate into lower enthusiasm, lower turnout in future elections, maybe even some switching sides. On the flip side, some of Trump's base will love this. They'll see it as Trump winning on a global scale, spreading American influence, making MAGA bigger than just one country. It could actually energize certain segments of his support. The true believers will spin this as four-dimensional chess. Trump playing the long game, building something historic. They'll embrace it fully, but swing voters, independents, people who are on the fence, this is the kind of revelation that pushes them one way or the other, and probably not in Trump's favor. Media coverage is going to be relentless. This story has legs. It's got viral clips. It's got leaked documents. It's got potential corruption. It's got everything cable news loves. Expect this to dominate coverage for weeks. Every network is going to have their own angle. Every pundit is going to weigh in. Every analysis show is going to dissect it. This is ratings gold. And Trump's opponents, they just got handed the ultimate talking point. Every speech from now on can reference this moment. Every attack ad can use this clip. Every debate can circle back to "you admitted MAGA wasn't about America." That's not easy to defend against, because it's Trump's own words. Can't claim it's fake news. Can't say it's taken out of context when we have the full video. Can't dismiss it as partisan attacks when it came straight from his mouth. The bottom line, here's what it comes down to. Trump made a comment that either reveals the truth about MAGA's real purpose or is being wildly misinterpreted by critics looking for ammunition. But given everything else, the leaked donor data, the MAGA Global Initiative, the Project 2025 connections, the staffer panic, it's getting harder to claim this is all just a misunderstanding. Trump might have just admitted that Make America Great Again was never really about America at all. It was about building something bigger, something global, something that puts Trump and his allies in positions of power across multiple countries. Whether that's brilliant strategy or dangerous corruption, well, that depends on who you ask. But one thing's for sure, we're going to be talking about this for a long time. And that staffer who got caught on the hot mic saying we weren't supposed to go there, yeah, they were right. They definitely weren't supposed to go there, but they did. And now we all know. The cat's out of the bag. The secret's been revealed, and there's no going back. So, what do you think? Is this Trump finally being honest? Or is this the media twisting his words? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation is just getting started. And trust me, there's more coming. Because once you pull one thread, the whole thing starts to unravel. And this thread is connected to everything. Stay tuned, because if you thought this was explosive, wait until you see what comes next.